I made a deal with a god, trading 30 years of my life. Also my boyfriend, who had been paralyzed for 5 years, could walk again. I thought that once he was back on his feet, we would get married and live happily ever after. Instead, he proposed to his first love in front of me and all our friends. I kind of lost it. I took care of you for 5 years, I said. She didn't even show up once in all that time. How could you do this to me? My boyfriend, Alex, just smirked. I was just stringing you along. I needed a free nurse, he said, his voice dripping with condescension. You saw me at my absolute worst for 5 years. How could I possibly still have feelings for you? His first love, Jenna, chimed in with a saccharine, passive-aggressive tone. I really should thank you, Chloe. If it weren't for your heartfelt dedication, we wouldn't have this medical miracle. But hearing that, I didn't get angry, because the deal I made with the god came with a 7-day, no questions asked return policy. That morning, Alex had told me with a mysterious smile that he had a surprise for me tonight. He told me to dress up and meet him at a small villa in the suburbs. I knew what that meant. He was going to propose. For the past 5 years, I'd brought up marriage countless times, but Alex always refused. I'm a cripple now, he'd say. Marrying you would just be ruining your life. I can't drag you down with me unless I can walk again. And just yesterday, the impossible happened. After 5 years of being paralyzed, Alex's legs were working. He could finally stand. So I was buzzing with excitement and anticipation. I bought a new dress, did my makeup, and made sure every detail was perfect before heading to the address he gave me. As I walked into the villa, I heard a lot of familiar voices. I recognized the backs of our friends and old classmates, all murmuring excitedly, "Say yes, say yes. This makes me believe in love again. A true happy ending for soulmates. It's so moving. I'm so jealous." A warm feeling spread through my chest. It looked like they were rehearsing the proposal. I never thought Alex would put so much effort into this in my mind. We didn't need all these grand gestures. Still, I was touched. I felt like Alex really, truly loved me. My 5 years of hard work, all my sacrifices, were finally paying off. With tears welling in my eyes, I walked into the main hall. The words I do were stuck in my throat, but they wouldn't come out. Because Alex was indeed proposing, but the person he was proposing to wasn't me. It was his first love, Jenna. With his back to me, Alex was down on one knee. "Jenna," he said, his voice thick with emotion, "I know this proposal is 5 years late, but my love for you has never wavered. I didn't contact you these past 5 years, not because I stopped loving you, but because I didn't want to be a burden. Every single minute of every day, I dreamed of standing up again so I could give you the life you deserve. Thankfully, fate smiled on me and gave me a chance to make that dream come true. Jenna, will you marry me?" Jenna was facing me, so she was the first to see me standing there. She shot me a smug, triumphant look before turning back to Alex. "I will," she said. The room erupted in cheers, but my blood ran cold. I felt like I'd been plunged into an icy abyss. 5 years ago, late one night, Alex had insisted on driving over 100 miles to see me, promising a surprise. I waited until dawn, but the surprise never came. Instead, I got a call from his mother. She screamed at me through the phone, her voice filled with so much hate it felt like she wanted to crawl through the line and strangle me. "You made him come see you in the middle of the night, didn't you? Why would you do that? Why? Do you have any idea what you've done? Because of your stupid whim, my son got into a car accident. The doctors say his spine is injured. He's never going to walk again." Her words slowly sank in. Alex had gotten into an accident from drowsy driving. He was alive, but his legs were paralyzed. Forever. And his mother was right. It was my fault. I should have stopped him. She hated my guts. I knelt outside their house for days before they finally let me see him. Alex looked so frail, but he still tried to comfort me. "Don't cry," he said. "It's the driver's fault for driving tired. It has nothing to do with you. It's just a shame I can't carry you up a mountain or spin you around anymore." My heart shattered. To make up for my mistake, I gave up my chance to study abroad and chose to stay by his side. I took him to doctors all over the country, and even taught myself traditional Chinese massage and physical therapy techniques. It was exhausting, but I did it gladly and never once complained. I was so devoted that all our relatives and friends called me a fool. Even Alex's mother, who had despised me, slowly came around and started treating me like a daughter-in-law. Yesterday, when feeling returned to his legs and he miraculously stood up, I thought my struggle was finally over. But this proposal was a slap in the face. If Alex loved Jenna this much, then what were my last 5 years? A joke? I tried to control my emotions, taking several deep breaths, but I couldn't contain my rage. I stormed forward, staring daggers at Alex. Is this the surprise you were talking about? Only then did Alex realize I'd been watching his entire proposal. He didn't show an ounce of guilt. In fact, he sneered. Yeah. Why isn't it a surprise? Think about it. You get a shock and Jenna and I get the prize of getting married. Sounds like a surprise to me, right everyone? Laughter echoed through the villa as a few people agreed with him. I ignored the gawking crowd and kept my eyes locked on Alex. I took care of you for 5 years. 5 whole years. I worked myself to the bone. Anytime I heard about a good doctor, I'd take you there, no matter how far. I studied nutrition and physical therapy for you. To take care of you, I gave up my education. I barely left the house. I haven't had a full night's sleep in years. You promised me. You said you'd marry me when you could walk again. Why did you lie to me? Why would you treat me like this? I tried my best not to cry, but thinking about the past 5 years of toil, the tears streamed down my face anyway. My voice trembled. The peanut gallery of so-called friends fell silent, their smirks fading as they watched me. Alex just frowned, looking amused. You actually believed that? It was just a joke. If I didn't say I'd marry you, that I loved you, would you have worked so hard to serve me? Think about it yourself. You've seen me at my most disgusting, my most pathetic. I had no dignity in front of you. And you were always a disheveled mess, reeking of antiseptic and bedpans. Just looking at you made me sick. Why would I ever marry you? It was the same face that just 2 days ago had been thanking me for my devotion, telling me I was the best gift God had ever given him. How could he say something so cruel, so hurtful now? Seeing the look on my face, Alex seemed to gloat even more. It's the truth. Your very existence is a constant reminder of the 5 years I lived like less than an animal. And besides, this breakup and proposal should have happened 5 years ago. I was stunned. What are you talking about? That's right. Alex cut me off before I could finish. The night of the accident, I wasn't driving to you for a surprise. I was coming to tell you it was over. I had finally realized that Jenna was the one I truly loved. But Jenna is a kind, decent person. She didn't want to be the other woman. That's why I was in such a hurry to see you, to break up with you in person. I didn't know what to say. I reflexively asked, then why didn't you just tell me this morning? Why did you have to say it was a surprise? For the first time, a flicker of guilt crossed Alex's face. I was going to tell you my plan and break up with you. But Jenna was right. You're so deeply in love with me, you wouldn't have believed anything I said. So I had to let you see me propose to Jenna with your own eyes. It's the only way you'd finally give up and stop clinging to me. At this, I couldn't help but find it hilarious. So you were the one suffering for the last 5 years? Alex nodded. I was trapped like a cripple, forced to play nice and string you along, unable to be with my true love. Of course I was suffering. After hearing him out, I couldn't hold it in any longer. I burst out laughing. When you were first injured, I cursed the heavens for being unfair. But now I see that they were too kind. A person like you shouldn't just be paralyzed in a car crash. You should be dead. Hearing this, Jenna shot me a snide look. Chloe, that's a horrible thing to say. I admit, what Alex did to you wasn't fair, but you don't have to wish death on him. Both Alex and I are very grateful for your sacrifice. We haven't forgotten, and we never will. But being grateful doesn't mean he has to marry you, right? By your logic, a hospital nurse would have to get married once a month. Honestly, I think you just have too high of an opinion of yourself. If a man truly loves you, why would he ever want to be a burden? Haven't you ever heard the saying? Sometimes the greatest love is letting go. The people there were all Alex's close friends, so they immediately started chiming in to support her. Exactly. Stop trying to guilt trip everyone. Yeah, Alex was driving, but would he have even been in that car if he wasn't trying to break up with you? Would he be paralyzed? You only talk about your 5 years of sacrifice. You think Alex wasn't suffering for 5 years? This is real life, not some romance novel. Did you really expect him to repay you by marrying you? Seeing everyone on her side, Jenna grew even more smug. Once the murmurs died down, she continued, Chloe, you keep emphasizing how you served Alex for 5 years. Are you trying to bill us for your caregiver fees? Alex, as if he had planned for this, pulled a bank card from his pocket. Don't worry, my family isn't short on cash, and I'm not some ungrateful bastard. For the past 5 years, I'll pay you at a rate of $3,000 a month. That comes out to $180,000. I'll give you $200,000. Consider it a one-time payment to buy out any debt of gratitude I owe you. From now on, we go our separate ways. We have nothing to do with each other. As if to prove his determination to cut ties with me, Alex didn't even hand the card to me himself. He placed it in Jenna's hand for her to give to me. Jenna held the card and smiled. But of course, you didn't take care of Alex for the money. You would never accept this $200,000, right? My 5 years of devotion may have been freely given, but since things had come to this, I wasn't about to turn down the money. I snatched the card from her hand and said with a half-smile, great. Of course, this sent the crowd into another round of murmuring, saying I only cared about money, and that thank God Alex didn't have to spend his life with me. Alex yelled after me, yeah, thank God for medical miracles. Otherwise, I'd be tied to her for life. The thought alone makes me despair. I didn't stop walking until I was in my car, where I finally burst into laughter. Because Alex had no idea that his recovery wasn't a medical miracle. To be precise, it was a divine one. For the past few years, I prayed every single day for Alex to walk again. Just 2 days ago, I met a God in my dream. The God said he could make Alex walk again if I was willing to give him 30 years of my life. I didn't hesitate for a second. I signed the contract, and it slowly transformed into a thin red thread that tied itself around my wrist. The God said that once the exchange was complete, the thread would disappear, and the deal would be done. I thought it was just a dream, but the next day, Alex really did stand up. At the time, I felt no regret or fear, only the thought of spending the rest of my short life living happily with him. I just never imagined he'd value my devotion so cheaply. Thinking of this, I took a small pair of scissors from the glove compartment and snipped the red thread on my wrist, the symbol of our contract. Alex and Jenna, deep in their profound love, got their marriage license the day after the proposal. It's not that I was paying that much attention to them, but Jenna was a minor influencer, and we were classmates, so the algorithm kept pushing her content on me. Their marriage even became a small news item. Probably to stir up some hype and get more ad deals, they bought a bunch of press releases and boosted their posts. In their version of the story, Alex wasn't paralyzed because of drowsy driving. He was in a car accident with Jenna and had been injured while protecting her. And during his 5 years of paralysis, Jenna had never given up on him. She was the one who took care of him, helped with his physical therapy, gave him massages, and saw him through his treatments. So, the first thing Alex did after standing up again was propose to Jenna. As for me, I was just a stranger, not even mentioned in a single article. The story went viral online, and a well-known relationship talk show even invited them on for a live interview. I calculated the time and figured Alex's legs were probably just about due. So, I tuned into the live stream. On the show, Alex was dabbing his eyes with a tissue. They say a real man doesn't cry easily, but if you were in my shoes, if you had a partner this wonderful and experienced a miracle like this, you'd be crying too. Jenna just shook her head modestly. It was what I had to do. I wouldn't just take care of you for 5 years. I'd do it for 10, 20, even 50, and I would never get tired of it. The live chat was scrolling like crazy, and the host was also teary-eyed. This is so moving. It's because you love each other so much that you were able to create such a medical miracle. I know, Alex, that your dream has always been to hold Jenna in your arms again. So, for the finale of our show, would you please stand up and give Jenna a hug? Alex nodded, placed his hands on the sofa, and tried to push himself up. But his expression quickly changed. My legs. I can't feel my legs. Jenna froze for a second, then let out a small laugh. Alex, stop joking around. We were at the hospital just yesterday for a checkup. The doctor said your legs are as good as a normal person's. How could you not feel them? Then a sudden spark lit up her eyes. She looked at Alex with a pleasant surprise, feigning concern. Are they just asleep from sitting for too long? How about I give you a massage? It'll be a great chance to show everyone how I took care of you for the past 5 years. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. It looked like Jenna thought Alex was just pulling a stunt for the show, pretending he couldn't stand so everyone could see what a devoted caregiver she was. As she spoke, Jenna knelt on the floor and started clumsily rubbing his legs. Most of the comments in the live chat were praising her, but a few people who knew something about massage were skeptical. Didn't she say she studied massage? That doesn't look like she's had any training. Is that supposed to help? This has to be staged, right? The host saw these comments and quickly steered the conversation back with more praise, asking Alex how the massage felt. Alex was in a panic and had no patience for the host or Jenna. In response to their questions, he just roared, "Shut up. Both of you. Are you deaf? I said I can't feel my legs. I can't feel a thing." Then he shoved Jenna away. "Get your hands off me. Get me my phone. Where's my phone? I need to call Chloe. She'll know what's going on." Now, the live set descended into chaos. The host, having never encountered a situation like this, hastily ended the broadcast. As the live stream cut off, my phone began to ring almost simultaneously. I let it ring, waiting until the third call before I calmly answered. Alex was frantic, completely forgetting that just a few days ago, he'd told me we'd never see each other again. "Why didn't you answer my calls?" he demanded. Before I could speak, he continued impatiently, "Whatever, I don't have time for your excuses. My legs have gone numb again for no reason, and the doctors don't know what's wrong. You need to get to the hospital right now. You know my situation better than anyone. Get over here and tell the doctors what you used to do so they can figure this out." I knew I had no obligation to go to the hospital to see Alex, but I couldn't resist the urge to watch the show. So, after hanging up, I drove to the address he sent me. As soon as I reached his room, I could hear several attending physicians huddled around Alex's bed, discussing his case. "These test results are identical to all the results you've had for the past 5 years. There's no change whatsoever." "That's right. Based on these results, it should be impossible for you to stand. You said you were standing just a few days ago. Are you sure that was real and not a dream or a hallucination? Are there any witnesses?" Alex's mother stood by the bed, wringing her hands. "Doctor, it wasn't a hallucination. He really stood up. We all saw him. Could it be because of the massage? My son's girlfriend massaged his legs every day for 5 years, and then one day he just stood up. Maybe because he hasn't had a massage for the last couple of days. He can't stand anymore?" The doctor almost laughed. "Massage? This is a spinal cord injury. Massage might make you feel more comfortable and provide some psychological comfort, but it can't make you walk." Just as he finished speaking, Alex saw me. "Chloe, get over here. Quick, tell the doctor about my condition." I didn't refuse. After all, there's nothing more satisfying than giving someone hope, only to watch them fall into despair. I briefly explained my old massage techniques to the doctor. The doctor nodded in approval. "This technique is as good as any old master's. It's clear you put a lot of thought and effort into this. But none of these massage techniques have anything to do with the spine. There's no way this could have made Alex walk." Alex's face turned white as a sheet. "Then how did I stand up?" he asked repeatedly. "How can I stand up again?" The doctor just shook his head. "I don't know how you stood up. All I can tell you is that based on your condition, you will never be able to stand again in this lifetime." Alex's mother staggered and chased after the doctor as he left the room. Alex looked like he was about to cry. After a long moment, he looked at me and said, "You must be enjoying this, right? Now that I can't walk, you can go back to taking care of me. First, get me a glass of water. I'm thirsty." I obligingly walked over to a bottle of water, twisted it open myself, and took a sip. "Alex, the only reason I came to the hospital was to watch the show. I'm not here to take care of you." Alex stared at me, seemingly unable to believe I would refuse his request. I smiled and continued, "Besides, you said it yourself. Looking at me makes you sick. You have money and a wife. You can either hire a nurse to take care of you, or you can have your wife do it. She's already taken care of you for 5 years, and she said she's willing to do it for 10, 50 more. What are you worried about? Alex knew I'd seen the live stream and was speechless. It was only then that I realized Jenna wasn't there. Speaking of which, where is your devoted wife who took care of you for 5 years without ever leaving your side? As the words left my mouth, Jenna's voice came from behind me. Where was I? I was out finding evidence of your crimes. I turned around and saw that Jenna hadn't come alone. Behind her were police officers and a few doctors. Before I could react, Jenna pointed a finger at me. Officers, it's her, Chloe. Arrest her. Arrest me? I blinked. What did I do? Jenna snorted, but she didn't look at me. She addressed the police. She did this out of jealous rage. She deliberately poisoned my husband, causing his legs, which had already healed, to suddenly become paralyzed again. You have to arrest her. Hearing this, Alex's mother looked like she was about to lunge at me. It was you. I should have known. Alex was already standing. How could he just randomly become paralyzed again? It was all you. You must have found out 5 years ago that Alex wanted to break up with you, so you orchestrated the car accident. After the crash, when my son was paralyzed, you pretended to take care of him, but you were actually plotting against him. When my son figured you out, you poisoned him. How could you be so heartless? It seemed to click for Alex, too. Yes, it must be you. It all makes sense now. You didn't even put up a fight when I told you we were breaking up. You didn't cause a scene at the courthouse when Jenna and I got our marriage license. You didn't even react when Jenna and I lied online, and took all the credit for your work. You love me so much. There's no way you could just watch me marry someone else. You must have poisoned me. You thought that if I were paralyzed again, I'd have to come crawling back to you. I rolled my eyes internally. You guys missed your calling. You should be screenwriters. Even the police officers looked exasperated. Do you have any proof for these claims? If this is all just speculation, there's nothing we can do. Jenna was full of confidence. Of course I have proof. The day after Alex recovered, I took him to the hospital for a full checkup, and the doctors said everything was fine. So, after his legs went numb, the first thing I did was contact the doctors who did the examination. They can testify that his legs were perfectly healthy. All we have to do is run a full blood panel on Alex, and we'll definitely find out what kind of poison he was given. With that, she shot me a condescending smirk. Chloe, I suggest you confess right now. If you tell us what poison you used and offer compensation, we might consider giving you a letter of leniency. Otherwise, poisoning someone is enough to put you in prison for a long, long time. I didn't even bother to explain. It would be useless with Jenna, she wouldn't listen anyway. And frankly, if I hadn't made the deal with the god myself, I wouldn't believe that a paralyzed man could suddenly heal, and then just as suddenly become paralyzed again. It was better to get this cleared up now than to be framed by them later. So I just sat down on a nearby sofa. Then let's do the tests. Right here, in front of your doctors and the police. Let's find out for sure if I poisoned anyone. The 3 of them looked a little worried by my confidence, but they still called the doctors in for the tests. The doctors tried to explain that it was unnecessary and showed them the existing results, but the 3 of them insisted. In the end, after drawing several vials of blood and running multiple tests, the results came back completely normal. There was no poison, and everything was fine, except for the damaged spine. With this ironclad evidence, Jenna couldn't say another word about me poisoning anyone. With my name cleared by doctors from both sides, I walked out triumphantly, leaving the 3 of them stewing. After leaving the hospital, I was bombarded with messages from Alex and calls from his mother. At first, they were just arrogantly demanding that I come back and take care of him. Their rationale was, this was always your responsibility, and besides, you promised you would always take care of Alex. I wasn't angry. I just laughed and replied, wow, you actually believe things people say offhandedly? You're allowed to lie, but I'm not? Besides, what does his car accident have to do with me? If you're going to blame the heavens and the earth, why not blame the road, the guardrail, and the mountain too? When they saw that their guilt tripping wasn't working, they resorted to cursing me out for several days. But the newly re-paralyzed Alex had a terrible temper, and no caregiver could stand him. And since his mother and Jenna had no idea how to care for someone, they started begging. Alex, especially, changed his tune at lightning speed. The voice messages he sent were so pathetic they could make a statue cry. "Chloe, the truth is, I knew I was going to be paralyzed again. That whole proposal was just an act. Please come back. I'll explain everything to you properly. If you could see me now, your heart would break. Jenna and my mom don't know how to take care of me, and the nurses are all so mean. But no matter what they said, I never went back to the hospital. I had other things to worry about. 5 years ago, I had received an acceptance letter from a prestigious art university abroad, but I gave it up because of Alex's situation. After Alex proposed to Jenna, I contacted the university again. The full scholarship was gone, but with the $200,000 from Alex, I could still afford to go. Just as I had packed my bags and sorted out all my student visa paperwork, ready to leave, I saw Alex's car parked at the entrance to my apartment complex. The moment I stepped outside, Alex's mother blocked my path. "Chloe, I finally found you. What I said to you back then. I wasn't blaming you. I was just so worried. Please don't take it to heart. The truth is, I've always liked you best. Even though you and Alex never got married, in my heart, you've always been my daughter-in-law, like my own daughter. Alex hasn't eaten or slept these past few days. All he wants is to see you. Please just see him for a minute." She dragged me over to the car, where I saw Alex sitting inside. It had only been a month, but he had lost at least 20 pounds. He wasn't just thin, his eyes were sunken, a clear sign of sleepless nights. The moment Alex saw me, tears started rolling down his cheeks. "Chloe, how could you be so cruel? Just because I said a few harsh words, you're really going to ignore me forever?" Honestly, I found it hilarious. "Alex, Jenna is a wonderful girl. You've already married a wonderful girl, so why are you coming to find a wicked person like me? Besides, have you forgotten? The sight of me makes you sick." Alex looked angry, but the misery of having no one to care for him was worse. He forced an awkward smile. "Chloe, what happened with Jenna made me see things clearly. She's not the person I thought she was. The moment she was sure I wasn't going to walk again, she moved out and just left me with divorce papers. And not only does she want a divorce, she wants to take half my money. I was so wrong about her. I was enjoying this, but also getting bored. Alex, as much as I'm delighted to hear all this, it doesn't mean I have all day to listen to you whine. So let me just ask you one question. What does any of this have to do with me?" A blank expression crossed Alex's face. "Chloe, can't you see? I'm here to get back together with you. I'm divorcing Jenna, and I want to be with you again. You're the only one I want to spend my life with." Hearing this, his mother quickly pulled a ring box from her purse. Even with a quick glance, I recognized it as the same engagement ring Alex had given to Jenna. Alex held up the ring, his eyes filled with tears. "Chloe, I know I'm not perfect, but everyone makes mistakes, right? And after everything that's happened, I finally see who I am, and I see the difference between you and Jenna. You are my home, my destiny. So will you marry me? For the rest of my life, I'll love you and be faithful to you." To be honest, I had waited a long time for this proposal. For 5 years, I had never looked down on Alex, and I had dreamed countless times of marrying him. But now that the dream was coming true, it just made me feel sick. I snorted. "Alex, do I look like a recycling center to you? When you could stand, you had to chase after your true love, Jenna. Now that you can't stand and Jenna has dumped you, you want me back as your free nurse. How can you even think that?" Alex seemed to have never expected me to refuse. He knew better than anyone how deeply I had loved him. But this wasn't the time to lose his temper, so he forced another awkward smile. "Chloe, don't misunderstand. I'm not asking you to be my nurse. There must be a reason my legs experienced a miracle. It has to be because of your love for me. So if we get back together, I'm sure another medical miracle will happen." I threw my head back and laughed. "Alex, what you're saying sounds completely insane, but I have to tell you, you're right." Alex gave me a confused look. "What?" I figured it was time to tell him the truth. "Under normal circumstances," I said with a smile, "your legs would never have healed. The only reason you were able to stand was because I traded 30 years of my life for your legs. What I said was unbelievable, but Alex and his mother only thought for a moment before they believed me. They had probably spent the last few days learning everything they could about his condition. They knew that, scientifically, he would never walk again, so they were ready to believe my story. As it dawned on him, Alex's eyes lit up. I knew it. I knew it was you. Chloe, this is great. Use your life to trade for my legs again. Don't worry, this time, after I can walk, I won't get back with Jenna. I will only love you. His mother nodded enthusiastically. Yes, Chloe. I know 30 years is a long time, but what's the use of living so long anyway? It's better to die at your most beautiful age. That way, Alex will remember you for his whole life. Death isn't the end, being forgotten is. We will never forget you. Go on, make the trade. I had guessed they would say something like this, so I wasn't surprised. Alex, forget 30 years of my life. I wouldn't give you another 30 seconds. I've already wasted 5 years on you. I'm not about to waste another 30. But I glanced at his mother. If you're willing to trade 30 years of your life, I can help arrange it for you. Alex wasn't stupid. He knew I would never help him again, so he immediately grabbed his mother's hand. Mom, please help me. Lying in bed like this is a living hell. I'm not even 30 yet. Please, will you help me? I chimed in to help. Yeah, didn't you just say it's better to die at your most beautiful age? I imagine Alex would definitely remember you if you died. Without a second thought, his mother refused. I'm already old. Losing 30 years means I could die tomorrow. There's no way I'd agree to that. It's my life. Why would I give it up for someone else? She stopped short, suddenly covering her mouth. I didn't say much else, just muttered hypocrites under my breath, and left while Alex and his mother were arguing. I successfully boarded my flight and went to the university to pursue my dream. But because Alex and I had so many mutual friends, and because of Jenna's influencer status, I still heard about what happened to them. To push the divorce through, Jenna used a mix of threats and blackmail against Alex. Knowing he stood to lose both his reputation and his money, Alex made a difficult decision and started his own live stream. On the stream, he explained that I had been the one taking care of him for 5 years, that Jenna had done nothing, and that the whole PR campaign online had been her idea. Jenna's reputation plummeted overnight. She was cancelled. To save her own skin, Jenna started her own live stream, and the two of them went head to head, airing each other's dirty laundry. Alex accused her of being the other woman. Jenna shot back that he was an ungrateful, heartless monster. The dog-eat-dog drama ended with mutually assured destruction. Jenna's accounts were banned, her reputation was in tatters, and she eventually had to leave the city and move back to her rural hometown to lick her wounds. As for Alex and his mother, they grew to resent each other over the life for legs trade. Alex felt his mother didn't love him, not only refusing to care for him after he was paralyzed again, but also doing nothing when she knew there was a way to help him walk. His mother, on the other hand, felt Alex was selfish, saying she would have been better off raising a rock. She had already given him life once, why should she have to give up her own life just so he could walk? They had a complete falling out. With no wife and no mother, Alex was left to struggle on his own. Remembering what it was like to care for him, I imagined that for him, this was a fate worse than death. As for me, even though I wasted 5 years taking care of Alex, the experience changed my perspective on everything. And during those 5 years, I drew whenever I had a free moment. My skills improved immensely. As my professor put it, my old paintings were technically good, but they lack soul. After those 5 years, my art finally had a soul. After graduating from university, my professor helped me put on several exhibitions. One of them, a series titled Seeing a God, became a sensation, making me an internationally renowned painter overnight. I guess, in the end, what you lose on the swings, you gain on the roundabouts. The end.